Hey, welcome back, Doug Pagitt Radio on AM 950, and joined here in the studio by Heatherlyn and by John Noltner. How many times am I not going to say that right? John Noltner. We're going to chat with John here in a minute. John is a part of a project called Peace of My Mind, spelled Peace. And we're going to talk about that because this week there is an opening of an art installment and really, hopefully, an opening of a conversation that John is helping to coordinate. And Heatherlyn, the musician who's in the studio, is going to be part of that. But we're chatting at this point with Heatherlyn about her album called Story Dwellers. Story Dwelling. Mm-hmm. Story Dwelling. And we talked a little bit about that a while back.
We did,
about this idea of being those who are story dwellers versus this ongoing process of story dwelling. And so you've put together an album that wants to invoke in people the realization of that they have something to offer, that they have a way in the world, and you want to sing. You want to create a soundtrack to go along with that story.
Yeah, and I think we do all dwell in a story. We all have a narrative that it informs our lives, and we dwell in various stories. Microphone check. Microphone check.
Yeah. And you've put together songs that talk to you and songs that other people have written. And we were talking during the break, and you want to sing this about this. You're going to sing this song called Jack Riddle. Tell us a little bit about this guy.
Yeah, there are songs. The album, it really is a collection of songs that reflect my personal story. It reflects some of the human story that we all share, and I think some of the songs have imagination for the story that we can write together with our lives from this point forward. So, Jack Riddle was written by one of my best friends in college. And she wrote it when she was on a service learning trip with some students to West Virginia. And they met this man named Jack Riddle and just wanted to share his story.
Yeah, and it's an interesting song because we were chatting during the break. It's a creative name, Jack Riddle. Almost as if there's
a riddle.
Yeah, you almost wonder, if the guy doesn't have a stage name here, because it's such a good name. And the song raises, and you're going to sing it for us in a minute. But here's what struck me about it. I was listening to it, and I started creating my own understanding of what you're doing with the song.
You brought your own story to it.
Yeah, I started to say, what is she getting at? And I didn't know that it was a friend of yours who wrote it or whatever. I was hearing the lyrics and hearing the vibe of the song, and I started to think, is this a play on words? This phrase in our culture that you don't know Jack about something, meaning you don't know what there is to know about that. And I thought, well, this guy's name is Jack Riddle, and it's a story about a homeless guy who's sort of on the margins and sort of put out. And I thought, well, this is a story about the fact that we don't know this guy, that we don't know this Jack who's living this life and who has this going on. And we're sort of separated from him. Yeah. And I shared that with you like you were going to say, well, yeah, totally. And you're like, no, I hadn't thought about that at all.
Yeah,
and that's what's
clever.
Interesting about music, right?
Yeah.
Is that it invites people to hear it and to narrate for themselves what they think is going on. So I want to ask you a little bit about that. How much do you feel as an artist that you should be in control of people's experience with your music? And how much of it do you feel like is this opening?
Yeah.
And John, we can talk about this with you as an artist too, as a visual artist. Like, what's the role of an artist?
Yeah.
Because I'm in my professional life, I'm an author and a pastor.
Yeah.
And in that world, pastoring and authoring, you're kind of telling people what you want them to think, how you want them to think about it, and what you just wanted them to think, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very controlled kind of environment. But not for artists.
No,
so
I don't.
Talk a little bit about that.
I'm not trying to really control anything. I think I'm just trying to invite people into authentic sharing and authentic listening and maybe an authentic way of being, And I love what you said about the song. I think what you said about the song is true in some sense.
Yeah.
It's not the true backstory of the song itself, but I still think it's true what you said. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. And it's very clever, and I wish that it were that clever. Some songs that I've written have a clever story like that, but this is just very simple. A friend of mine wrote it, and it's simply a true story, which is kind of cool too.
And you're okay as an artist. I mean, part of what you want to do is to begin a conversation and not to have to always make it go to the place that you want it to go.
Right. Right. I just want to share authentically and invite people to consider. And then the outcomes are the outcomes, you know.
All right, we've talked a little bit about it. Can we hear it? Will you sing it for us? The song called Jack Riddle. This is Heatherlyn. You can find her on Facebook at facebook.com/Heatherlyn Music. Or if you're already on the Facebook page for the radio show, there's a link for it there. Here's Jack Riddle by Heatherlyn.
My name is Jack Riddle, and I sit on the bench at Parkway in March, watching all the people who pass me by. People here stay the same, you know, it's the same old game, the same old show. The rich stay rich and the poor stay low, you know. But they say that I can't stay here. They say my hands don't touch this sky. They say that I can't stay. And they say, and they say, and they say. But my name is Jack. Folks here stay away from me. They tell me I need more to my feet. Comb your hair, Jack, rub the dirt away from the seams. Hey, Mr. Pastorman, the service was fine. I came on down to stand right in line with Mary, the saints, and Jesus, that friend of mine. He's a friend of mine, I say. They say that I can't stay here. They say my hands don't touch this sky. They say that I can't stay. And they say, and they say, and they say. But my name is Jack. Sunday morning the bell will ring. I'll stay in my heart by my West Virginia stream. Don't you worry, I'll stay away. Perhaps my Lord might visit me today. But they say that I can't stay here. They say my hands don't touch this sky. They say that I can't stay. And they say, and they say, and they say. But my name is Jack. My name is Jack Riddle. My name is Jack, and you know where I be.
And the name of the one singing that song was Heatherlyn, and we're going to chat with Heatherlyn here after the break and find out where she's going to be this week. You can see her in concert, you can buy the album, and you can be part of Piece of My Mind, an art installment and the beginning of a conversation in the state and around the country. So stick with us here on AM 950 on DougPagittRadio.com after the break. We'll be back here with John and Heatherlyn after the break.